how to restring a Gibson Les Paul Standard or any guitar with a similar type of bridge setup. You're going to need some tools and some supplies. So what I've got, a brush, good for when I take off the strings, all these tight places, and get the dust off. We have a set of pliers, cut the strings, string winder, awesome for when you're winding on the strings. Now the supplies, got some Fretboard conditioner, it's Australian made one, smells like bubblegum, pretty cool. Just a sponge applicator and the rag to wipe off excess. Variety of different rags. We have just a Dunlop guitar polish. Also another Fretboard conditioner. I use this one when I don't want as deep conditioning. That one's more a deep conditioner. Some lem oil, good for cleaning, or another little trick that I'm going to show you, which is some wet and dry sandpaper. This is highly optional, preferential. I actually do have a trade as a spray painter, so I've used paints a lot. And when it comes to Les Pauls, they have a type of paint called a nitrocellulose, and it is very sticky. That's what makes it check, because it'll crack and do some things. That's why those older nitro guitars, they're called, it's just a type of paint. A lot of the modern guitars have a 2K or a 2-pack or a polyester type of paint, but this is a lot softer, and I find the necks very sticky on these. So a way to alleviate that, but before we get to that, we've got the strings too. Set of 9 to 42 Ernie bores. Going to do this one in E standard. So back onto the idea of the necks being a bit gummy, a bit sticky. So what I like to do is I get my lemon oil, wet and dry, and instead of using water, I use the lemon oil. And what I'm going to do is sand the back of the neck to get rid of that sticky feeling. And what will happen is, as I play this more, it actually will polish back up, because it's very easy to repolish a nitrocellulose guitar. And all you're going to do, a bit on there like that. Some people, you can put a piece of tape across here, but I'm not really too concerned. And you can use different grades. This is 1200 wet and dry. You can use 1500. 2000 is getting a bit thin, and I don't mind going right up to the edge of the frets. It's being 1200 over where the fret markers are. Just going to do all the neck. Give that a wipe down. See what we're looking like, how scuffed off it is. Not too bad. Do another go. A little bit more lemon oil. Like that. Now this is a highly preferential thing. Some people wouldn't want to do this on a $4,000 guitar, but like I said, I've worked with paint. I know how I like my guitars. What this does by sanding it is makes it a satin neck, which you can actually see a lot of modern guitars, they're doing that. They're selling them. You'll notice they've got like a line here and a line here, and it's taped off, and it's a satin neck from factory, which as you play that guitar, you will polish up a satin neck. It's the same if you had a matte finished guitar and you were to start picking on it a lot, and you'll notice that as you're picking, you create a shiny spot on the guitar. So it's no different to that type of thing. And like I said, nitrocellulose, purely just by me playing it, will actually bring the gloss back. So this is why on my setups I like to do this type of treatment to my necks, and I do this on all my guitars, and to me it just gives this awesome feel, and it's really hard to beat. No, a little bit more. I do it from the first fret up to where it joins the guitar. And as I said, I've worked with paint, I've gone to college, did 3 years of college to learn about paints and how to use them, how to polish them. So I definitely do not have any issue doing this to my guitars. So we just wipe that off. Scratch or a little bit of checking maybe. Righto. So we got that done, and what you'll notice, let me bring it up closer, is that from the gloss of the body, and you can see the neck, it's gone like satin. Just when you're playing and you're moving your hand over that satin neck, it's just an amazing feeling. I love it. So we're back to the top now. So now we're going to remove the strings. Now, what you could do if it's your first time doing it and you don't want to upset your action, or the tail piece is going to just come sliding straight off that way, you could tape it down here and here, and you could also tape the bridge piece down there too, or where the saddles are. So you could tape that down, but I'm not too concerned because that's how you adjust your action on a Les Paul, by either in, out. Obviously going in is going to drop the string down, up's going to raise the action. I'm happy where the action is. This guitar, I'm happy where the truss rod is at the moment. It's always a pretty sturdy guitar, this one, but if you needed to, you could do some truss rod adjustment, but that's a whole other video, and today we're just going to focus on a simple restring. So what we'll do, grab a string winder, I'm just going to loosen off the strings like that. Really handy piece of equipment, a string winder. You can just loosen off, wind up your strings when you restring. It's so much easier. Like that. And what we're going to do, just get your pliers, come along. Like I said, you'll see that, it's just going to come straight off like that. No problem. There you go, come straight out, no worries. Leave them there for now. I'll put them there. Then what we're going to do, get the strings off. Now, one thing I'd say, when you're taking off these strings, especially the higher ones, what I'd be careful of. So one thing you do, or you'd want to be careful of when you're taking off these strings, is the higher ones can stab your finger. And anyone who's done enough restrings would have experienced a stabbed finger. So a thing I like to do, you just get your rag, hold it like that, and you pretty much eliminate it stabbing you in the finger. Okay, so we've got everything off now. That's where I like to get my brush. I'm just going to brush under here. And it's easy enough if you wanted to. You could just take off that piece. But then you've got to be careful not to move your wheels. So that's why I just like to leave that on there. Get my brush. And this one I've already given it like a really good polish, and recently, so. And then all we're going to do, get some of our guitar polish. Bit clean over, a little bit on there. Let's wipe her down. And this actually becomes like a very enjoyable thing to do for me. And I'm just like taking care of my guitars, the bit of TLC. You know, they're easy, like you can finger turn those, so that's why I just like to hold them, so, you know, same here, like if you're coming around here you can just push down on it, so you're not going to mess your action up. Very simple thing to do. Around the headstock. Now we're going to come along with our fretboard conditioner. One that I've been using for a long time, this sponge, so, and it's a bit messy, so I keep it, you can even see in the bag, just very slimy. And all I'm going to do with this one, like this, squirts in there like that. I'm just going to put that over the fretboard, like so. Checking for some even coverage. It's nice. I think straight away you can see that it's like instantly you can see how dark the fretboard has become. Very slimy, this stuff. It smells real good. It's like bubble gum. It's lasted me a long time, this one. I've had it for years. So hopefully when I need some more, yeah, a bit less than half, Ormsby will have stocks ready to go. So what I like to do with this one is leave it to soak into the fretboard for about 5 minutes. So we'll leave that for 5 minutes, come back and we'll proceed with the rest of the setup. Okay, so we've let the fretboard conditioner soak in roughly 5 minutes, and what we're just going to do is wipe off the excess. Just clean up any spillage that might have come down the back of the neck. That. Cool. So that's all done. That there. Now we get up to the best part. Getting the new strings on. So they always come in order. You can just place them down and you know you're going to have the low E there, and then your high E is always going to be at the bottom. Nice and easy. So we'll start with the low E. And then what you could also do too is face the holes straight this way with the neck. Just makes it a lot easier when you're feeding them through. So I'll just line those up. And then what I like to do is when I pull it tight, I roughly will go, because the low E is a bit thicker, so you've got the two posts, I'm just going to go in between the two last ones like that. Bring it back, keeping the tension on it. And then what I'm going to do is grab the string like this and just wrap it around the tuning peg like that. Just wrap it around and then flick that up. So all you're doing is you're getting it, holding your tension, you're just wrapping around it. Then you get your string winder. And then all you're going to do is then get it underneath it, wind it up, just like that, and you got your string. First one on like that. We might even give that a bit of a close-up so you can see what I'm actually doing when I do the winding. So what you're going to do is wrap the string around the post like that. And then, so you can see what I'm doing with the camera, I'd normally just use my right hand, but you're just going to use your thumb to keep the tension, this finger pushing it down. So I've wrapped it around that way and it's over the top of where the hole. Then when I wind it, like that, the string is now going to go underneath where the string's coming out and underneath the hole. And you just continue to wind that up like that. And I've done the low E and the high E just to keep the stop tail piece in place so it doesn't fall out. We might try to do one on this side as well, just so you can see from this side as I'm winding it, so how I flick the string around. Once again, I'm just going to feed it through like that. Get that, feed that through there. Roughly, I'm just going to go a bit past that tuning post, bring it back to there. Then we're just going to grab this string like that. We're going to wrap it around, then hold it with your finger, flip this one up. Grab your string winder, and then as it's wrapping, you'll notice that it then goes underneath where the string is coming out. Proceed to wind, and you've got a nice, perfect wind as you would get from a guitar store or when it comes from the factory. And that's just how you do that wraparound section. So now we'll move the camera back to the other end again. So we've done the E, A and the high E just so the stop tail piece doesn't fall off the back of the guitar. Up to the D string. Always be careful too when you're unwrapping them. They can flick out and get you in the eye. I'm just going to do that again. Put it through there. Like that. Once again, roughly about 2 post pass, depending on the thickness of the string. Like I said, the higher strings, because they're thinner, I like to go about 2 post pass for the amount I'm going to wrap around. Sweet, like that. So all I did was continue the process with every string, putting on the G and the B string, So we have fretboard condition. I've sanded the neck to give it the satin feel that I like. Polished. All the strings are on. Now it's just to tune it up to stretch out every single string. So what we'll do, we'll just trim off the excess. So there you have it. Guitar has been tuned up, strings have been stretched, fretboard has been conditioned, polished, neck satinized. It's ready to play.